why boxing is the most effective martial art in a street fight. Hello Earthlings, Ultraviolet Ronald from the Bronx here, and today we're going to get into why boxing is the most effective martial art in a street fight. Starting off with number one, you learn how to gauge distance. You know exactly when to enter the void and get out the void. 98 to almost 100% of street fights start off with the fist. That's why you always hear that famous saying, put them up, let's throw the hands. 1D, let's go. And the first thing they're doing is what? They're throwing the hands up, they're in these like weird positions. And you're like, what are they doing? Because you know a lot of people do not know how to fight in a sense of like martial arts, but more in a street sense, which makes sense. But at the same time, if you know how to gauge distance, use your jab, and be very aware of your surroundings, you're gonna do a lot more damage than you think. Now, a lot of people are gonna say, well, I know how to wrestle, or I know jujitsu. It can be very great just dealing with one opponent. But in the street, you could be dealing with multiple attackers. A lot of the time, life is not fair. People don't play fair in the street. So what they wanna do, they wanna have 2, 3, maybe even 5 people try to attack you at once. Guess what? When you know how to strike, boom, and keep your distance, you can move around them very quickly, and those people don't have good footwork, so they're gonna stumble over their feet. And in the midst of that chaos, you can just throw a simple left hook with not even a lot of power. It's gonna take them out, all right? You can keep that jab out and probe it, throw that cross, knock them out. You can hurt that person with just pumping that jab because it's bare knuckle. You don't need to do so much, you don't need to throw so much force into the punch to do damage. Now, if you're wrestling or doing jujitsu, you leave yourself more susceptible if it's a bunch of people coming in to kick you in the head, punch you in the back, and something happening to you. And you can get hurt and you can potentially not be able to go home that night. The person can just pull out a shank and just, because you're close and they felt like I have no choice, I had to bring it out. Or boomstick, that could happen. But if you know how to gauge your distance, you know how to come in and come out as quickly as possible and end the threat right there, you'll be able to go home quicker. And like I said, most fights end up with the hands, right? That's how they throw them. Let's go. They're pulling up the pants and doing all of this like craziness to bring more attention to themselves and bring more confidence into the adrenaline that's pumping into their veins. But if you learn boxing and you could just take it for 3 to 6 months and you sparring, not heavy sparring, but like light to mid sparring, and you're doing it about 2 times a week, just starting off in the gym, you're gonna have a lot more knowledge in your mind to know how to combat that person that's trying to come at you in a street fight scenario. So, yes, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, very useful. But in a street fight scenario, it's about getting to the threat, ending the threat when you get into danger, and then leaving as quickly as possible. But if you can de-escalate the situation, de-escalate the situation. If you have no choice to fight, fight and do what's necessary for you to go back home. But boxing is the most effective because throughout the end of times, most fights happen with their fists as they used to do it, right? Put them up, come on, boy, put them up, let's go. And you see them throwing hands like that. But it's been around since the turn of the century. And all you gotta do, you're at home, make sure your feet are not crossed, mimic the stance I'm in, make your body a small target, keep those elbows in, and just practice the jab. Practice the cross, all right? You're throwing that jab, keeping your arms loose, keeping that chin tucked in, and moving your head, and learning how to slip side to side and go under punches. You're gonna have so much more knowledge than the person that just has street knowledge, okay? It only goes so far when you're actually going against a person that actually knows what to do and gauge distance in that type of scenario. So if you want to know which martial art is the most effective, it's going to be boxing, hands down. Everything starts with the hands, so focus with the hands. And then eventually, if you need to branch off into other martial arts like kickboxing, Muay Thai, which is very effective after boxing, go into those martial arts. But kicking, by you kicking, you're gonna open yourself up to a lot more things because you are really giving away a lot of distance and balance when you're trying to throw a kick. So if you're not proficient in kicking, do not kick, okay? Try to end the threat as quickly as you can with the hands and leave. All right, get out and you'll be able to come back another day. Hopefully you find this video useful. And if you like the video, please comment and subscribe. Thank you for joining me on this journey to the ultraviolet, and always work towards becoming your greatest version.